And welcome back, guys, to another Study Sunday, with the only exception that it's not actually a Sunday today, but already Monday. Apologies for that, but I thought it would still be nice to publish it, even if it's one day late. I've had a couple of contenders for this week's Endgame study, and in the end, I decided for this one, which is the exercise that White is to move, and White needs to win here. It is composed by a name I will not even try to pronounce. If some of you guys could help me out in the comments with that, would very much appreciate it. But anyway, very beautiful study. I've actually just solved it today out of this beautiful book. Whoops, Magic Chess Moves by Michael Konopka. I can highly, highly recommend it. There's a lot of great material in that. A lot of the exercises are very difficult, but if you're trying to improve, especially your calculation, it's a fantastic book. And also generally the author is really trying to look for examples which are, first of all correct. Like I check all of them myself, and it's very well done by the author, like everything checked with a good engine and so on. And there's always like a good solution, which is also important if I look at those books. And in most cases, the solution is also beautiful. That's probably why the book is called Magic Chess Moves too. So big shout out to the author, Michael Konopka, who is actually also playing in my team in the Czech League. But yeah, can highly recommend that book if you guys are trying to improve your calculation. Anyway, I've talked enough by now, so let's get into the study. Again, if you want to try and solve it by yourself, now is the time to do so. You can pause the video because I will reveal the solution now. So it took me like, I don't know, like 4 minutes or so, I would say, to solve it. Maybe a bit less, maybe 3 minutes. Generally not the fastest often when it comes to calculation. And in the end, I realized that it has to be the move king to h2. At first, I was looking at king takes g2 here, but then the problem is rook takes g6 check, and if the king moves somewhere, then just rook f6 comes, and then it's going to be a draw because rook and bishop against rook is not enough to win for White. Then I looked here at some tricks like rook g5 with the king on g2 now, but now I realized that, well, black can just take here, the king has to move somewhere, and then black can go rook f5, and in fact black is winning because he's picking up the f7 pawn sooner or later. So then I started looking in other directions after realizing that king takes g2 is not the way here. I was thinking, like, could you start with f8 queen and then maybe take on g2, but then the same problem was there, but not with rook g8, but with rook f6. This was my issue here. And now d6 is protected and White cannot protect the g6 pawn. And if g7, then rook g6 check. And black is making a draw comfortably. So then, for some reason, I looked at king h2 because it also looks like a study move. And then I realized after black takes a queen, which is the only move, he cannot take on g6 because of f8 queen check. If he takes a queen, king takes g1, rook takes g6 check. Now the only difference is that White's king is on g1, but not on g2, which doesn't seem like it makes any difference. But then I saw that rook g5 is possible. Rook takes g5, and now bishop g2. And the only way for black now to stop the pawn is again by playing rook f5. But now, since we have the bishop on g2, we're going to have bishop h3 in this position. Here I actually stopped calculating and I thought I solved the study correctly, but then when I looked at the solution by the author, he still said that king d8 needed to be calculated here, which is quite obvious now that I look at it. Bishop takes f5 and now king e7, and now is actually the final point of the study too, that you need to decide where to place the bishop. It's probably, if you reached that far, it's probably not going to be too difficult anymore. The move is bishop g6. Just that this bishop is on this diagonal right here, so that it always stops the h-pawn. And now White can just collect all of those pawns and is going to be winning. Bishop e6 should not be winning, because then black is always going to have those two pawns. And I don't know, let's say king f2, h4. If king f3, then I guess d3, king e3, h3. And if White takes this pawn, then black can take on f7, and then it would be a draw. So very nice solution in my opinion, this line with king h2. Also takes some creativity to get to that, and then rook g5, take, and bishop g2. So that was it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, those videos tend to be a bit quicker, but yeah, Hope it's still a nice format for you. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you guys soon.